guys? Today is June 14th, 2026, coming at you for the live stream to talk about From Season 4, Episode 8. I just got done watching it before coming on the stream. Talk about that, talk about different shows. I didn't really see any movies recently, but if you have, you always let me know because I always appreciate the input. I'm One Eyebrow, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about From... I guess the Walking Dead Dead City trailer came out, and we'll talk about that a little bit. There's not much to gather from that, in my opinion, besides Maggie and Negan working together, which kind of has to happen because we're tired. I know I'm tired of them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's just, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it's much better than my thoughts of it are, but either way, let's wrap it up. Start that in July, finish that whenever. Daryl Dixon later this fall. Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. What are you guys watching? What's up, Tim? So, Fight for Us 2 reaction is, the next book in the Fight for Us 2 series. And I'm excited for it to come out this month. And we're getting it going. So it's pretty cool stuff. I'm excited to get it out there, and then I'm also really excited to start the next book, onward and upward, But what are you guys watching? What are you up to on there as well? Did you watch the NBA Finals? Did you care about it? The New York Knicks are the champions of this season, and it's pretty cool. They haven't won a title in 53 years, and now they have, and they, were the better team. I don't know how much they were because the Spurs outplayed them the first 3 quarters of every game, but the last quarter of every game, they got outplayed, and that's the one that truly matters. You can't win the game in the first 3 quarters, but you can, set yourself up, and it's over. So the Knicks are champions. World Cup is underway. NHL Finals are underway. UFC Freedom 250 is today. I'm definitely going to watch that because of the spectacle that's at the White House lawn. That's crazy. So, I think we just have you, Tim. All I see is concurrent viewers here as well. And, so we'll have to see how many people join or whatever, if I'm going to keep doing this or not, just because life gets in the way. And, Big Tree, what's going on, my guy? So, Tim, that's my last name. I'm, available on Amazon, coming out soon, and I'm excited to get that done. From Season 4, Episode 8, we'll talk about that, the last 45 minutes or so of the stream. Hope you guys are watching it and enjoying it. What else are we watching? The NBA Finals. That's over now. We're finishing up Righteous Gemstones. We have 1 episode remaining of that 4th and final season, and that's a crazy show, and it's interesting to see how that's going to finish up the last episode. We didn't see Dutton Ranch on Friday, not yet, but we will. I'm excited to see that because that's really a good show. Dutton Ranch is a great continuation of the Yellowstone universe. It's kind of like, the Walking Dead universe had the main show and Yellowstone had the main show. And then, Taylor Sheridan has really branched off in different things. And yes, it's not the same as, Yellowstone, and some things connect, some things don't. And some things are made to connect. But with Walking Dead, it felt like we're watching, speaking of Fear the Walking Dead, Coleman Domingo is in 4 seasons on Netflix. It's the 2nd season now of it. It's Tina Fey, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and other actors. It's interesting. I didn't know it was another previous movie that was adapted to a show, but it's good. It's interesting, and I feel like Coleman Domingo has really branched out and had a pretty good career since Fear the Walking Dead. And, Strand was an important character in Fear the Walking Dead, and Coleman Domingo's performance was actually pretty good, but the writing was what it was, and he had major plot armor, so it is what it is. But either way, I think he's had a nice career since Fear the Walking Dead. it's interesting to see the characters that, remain from, or I guess the actors that remain in the business after a show. Like, I haven't seen Kim Dickens in much since Fear the Walking Dead. I haven't seen Chandler Riggs in much since The Walking Dead. I know like Caitlin Nakin, who played Enid on the show, just got married, I believe. And Fear the Walking Dead was what it was, and that was a spin-off of The Walking Dead. It didn't really do too much for a lot of things besides have some connections, and it had its moments, but overall it was a cluster of chaos. The World Beyond, which wasn't that great, and you had forced connections in my opinion, but ultimately it was something that the guy who played Proctor John was on Dutton Ranch, and he's a good actor. He was also on Sons of Anarchy, and it's kind of cool when you see certain people come up and you see them actors in different roles, and it's cool because certain people play a certain role and you get to know them a little bit, and it's kind of familiar to us to see the people on there as well. But people are branching out, and Boyd is a pretty big actor, and other than that, Donna is in a couple other things, and I don't know Julie's really in anything, and Ethan and Victor and Henry and Jade, and I don't really see them in too much, but it's kind of cool when they pop up and you're like, oh, that's so and so, that's there as well. So I'm excited for the wrap up from season 4. We have 2 more episodes. There's 10 episodes a season. We just finished episode 8 this morning. We got 9 and 10. And then, so that'll be good because we got it done on the 28th, would be the finale of season 4 of From. And then we'll have, House of the Dragon, I believe, is next week, the 21st. And then on the 25th is the Bear final season, which I'm excited to see how that goes. And then in July, like the end of July, will be Dead City, but House of the Dragon will be going all that time. And there's always stuff popping up on documentaries and everything, and the World Cup's going on. And the United States had a pretty huge win on Friday. I watched the first half of it, which is crazy because they have 23 minutes, a hydration break, and then they continue on for another 23 minutes or so because they add extended time for that 3 extra minutes. They had 5 extra minutes in there too. And then the second half I didn't really watch, but they had the big thing. What's up, Jeannie? The second half, they scored a goal. The United States ended up winning 4-1. I thought the competition would be Australia, would be the biggest competition in the group. They just beat Turkey, so Turkey doesn't look to be big of a threat, but you never know. Paraguay got beat by the United States, and Australia is the next game, I believe, or is it Turkey? I'm not sure where the United States play next week, next Friday in Seattle, Washington. So it was kind of cool. Celebrities have been everywhere in the World Cup, and they've been at the Knicks games, and it's cool to see them and everything, and it's kind of cool to see who's there, like Derek Jeter and Eli Manning and Tracy Morgan and Ben Stiller and Spike Lee, and Seinfeld was there and everything, and it's kind of cool. But ultimately, I'm like, I hear that some of those people are getting free tickets, where I'm like, wow, that's crazy that they're getting there to a free whatever. But is everybody getting free tickets? Like, is Sydney Sweeney getting free tickets? Is Prince Harry that was there getting free tickets? I mean, it's the most backwards way of everything, right? Like, the richest people get the biggest handouts and the most free stuff there is at award shows and whatever, and the people who have no publicity or notoriety or money or wealth or power or status or whatever it is have to work harder to build it up, where people that have the notoriety and influencers and all that stuff get all these connections and freebies. And, I always, growing up with friends of different, ages and people and groups and everything, you learn from them, which I thought was great. And one of the best piece of advice I've ever heard from my friend, Justin, was, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And you can know all the things in the world, but it comes to being connections and having those people in your life that are connected with a bunch of people that connect to other people. And it's like the Kevin Bacon game where you're 6 degrees of connecting with people that can help you with your house or your lawn or your job or your finances or your plumbing or your pool or your whatever. You know, all these different things. They have all these different stuff going on, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. Well, Judy, you can say whatever on there too. So my take on Freedom 250 of the UFC event that's tonight at 8 o'clock is it's crazy that this is happening. It's a spectacle, but it's designed to be a spectacle. It's designed to be a crazy, you know, patriarchal event, I guess. Like, it's just trying to be there too. Like, the government, I don't think, should be connected with sports, but this is connected with it being in the White House and whatever. And it's going to be crazy. Like, I know a lot of people are going to watch. I know I'm going to watch. The card is pretty good. Plus, just to see how it goes down within the. And also, I don't know if it's going to rain or not, but the fighting is outside. So I know it's covered, but it's going to be hot and muggy in this. And I'm going to be watching from the comfort of my house, which is crazy. But you know, just like certain events, it's must-see TV, train wreck television that you want to watch, whether it's on Netflix with certain, you know, boxing events or mixed martial arts or whatever, and you tune in and, you know, just like the same thing, like the Super Bowl. Like, do people care about it? Some people, especially if your team's playing or not. This is arguably enough for that too. So, but it's something to watch and something to be a part of. And there's a lot of good stuff going on right now, too. It's a crazy time to be alive. And it's June 14th, so we're halfway through the year coming up. Come July, you know, 4th of July, and it's the 250th anniversary of our country, which is not a long time in the grand scheme of things, but hopefully we are a good country and whatever, and, you know, around for another 250 years. I mean, none of us will be, but hopefully the country is, and, you know, we're getting better priorities in life and better things, but only time will tell to see what happens with that. The way we're going, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but it's just interesting too, so. Yeah, sometimes it's all about just putting out content, whether you like it or not. Just gotta stay relevant for it too. So, you know, my goal is to you know, be part of this channel. I'm gonna have to take a little break every now and again. I know coming up towards the end of the year, I have some stuff I have to take care of with my dad, so I won't be able to post videos and do things for a little bit there. But that'll be at the end of the year. So it might be actually during Daryl Dixon. I'm hoping Daryl Dixon comes back in September, and it wraps up in October, because I might be busy at the end of October, November. I don't know exactly dates-wise on there as well, but I really would like to talk about the Daryl Dixon show, and we'll have to figure something out. Because anytime they're wrapping stuff up, we just want to see how stuff wraps up. And especially with From, you know, we have 2 more episodes left of this season going into the final season. And it's definitely something that I'm excited to see how it plays out. And they're giving us little glimpses and little misdirections, and they try this and they try this and this fails and whatever. And so the latest thing, obviously, is, are they going to be able to succeed in Jade's new plan? We'll have to see if it gets implemented in the next episode or the final episode, setting up the final thing, which probably going to not go well because it's a final season. This is not the final. These are not the final 2 episodes. It's the final 2 episodes of the season with a final season to come there too, with 10 episodes there. So what are they going to do? Probably continue down the same path of they come up with an idea, they implement or they talk about the idea. They come up with the idea again. They fix the idea. They implement the idea. It fails. They come up with another piece of information. Done a season. They come up with a plan. New problems, new concerns. Have a plan. Survive. Suffer. New plan. This, that. Little more information. End of the season. Is like every season of From. And they're not going to give us all the answers because they can't just give everything away. I don't even know if they know all the answers just yet. I mean, I feel like they have an idea of what they're doing, but also I feel like they don't really know what they're doing. And I really hope that the final season, especially the final episode, probably come like in a year from now, next June, we'll probably be talking about the end of From, the final episodes. Because depending on when it comes back and whatever. But is it going to feel rushed? You know, it always sucks when a show hurries up to get to the finale and then it's over. And I don't want that to happen with any show, let alone From, because it's been so long of watching these. I don't even know when From actually started. You know, if we're coming up on the 5th season, it's at least 5-6 years ago, obviously. And that's like a COVID show. It's like a COVID time. And now we're past that. We're here, there. Let's wrap it up, move it on to the final thing, and then see how it goes, too. So I know the idea of shows, entertainment is, you know, we're in a great spot in life for entertainment. You know, like you can go watch movies at home, watch movies in the movie theater, stream stuff, wait for stuff. You can do it there too. You know, like remember like back in the day, and I follow a lot of stuff back in the days, that you have to go to a movie theater to watch a movie. Or you rent the movie theater. What's up, Megan? And then you go there, or you watch it on TV. And nowadays, everything is so expedited out of the movie theaters quickly to digital, to streaming, to that it's almost like just better to wait. You know, and I'm also very excited for the X-Men show, the cartoon on what's up, Hard Nixie? Of July, I forget what it was, July 1st, I want to say, I believe. So, and so let's see how that goes with X-Men X-Men 97 season 2 coming out this summer, which again, add that to the list of good stuff to watch. And yeah, and then we'll be getting ready for football season, and then when football season comes about, then that's another thing. Add that to the list of other stuff, for sure. But yeah, so you know, I'm glad we're talking about From. So season 4, episode 8, it was one of those where sets up episodes 9 and 10, and you know, it's. So the big thing in the last episode was that Fatima is connected with Smiley, and that she stopped Smiley from killing Kenny. And this episode starts with the little puppet thing, the guy that was killed by the dolls, that was reawakened by Sophia, and he came out and tried to attack people, and then Elgin saved him and killed that thing with the spire or whatever it was. And then I'm like, where's Kenny at? Where's Kenny at? And then I just glance over, oh, Kenny's fine. There he is. Okay, cool. Kenny survived. We're good. So the big thing was that Fatima saved Kenny, and now Fatima is connected with Smiley, that Fatima's going to probably have to die, right? Like, because she's already got the varicose veins in the stomach. She has a low pulse rate. Blood pressure is real low. Her heart rate is like 19 or something. She should not be alive. So maybe she is transforming into that too. So ultimately, are we going to have the new people that are there in Fromville now end up taking the place of Smiley? Like, will Fatima end up dying and being one of those creatures that takes the place of Smiley? Like, I don't think we're going to have a good happy ending where everybody gets home, they were all in car accidents or all in comas, and they all wake up in different hospitals in Arizona and Michigan and Pennsylvania and Georgia or Texas or wherever they're from. I don't think that's going to happen. I just hope it makes sense. I hope it makes, I just hope it's not one of those, like, stupid things. Like, this episode really focused on Henry being in the manipulated state of, with Sophia's blood or the Man in Yellow's blood. And is it a dream? Is it this? Is he in the hospital? Is he losing his mind? Is it this? The ballerina, that's the nurse in the room. is telling him that he needs to eliminate the anchor. And like, this is the same thing with Sarah. Like, you need to stop this. And who's the anchor, right? Who's the anchor in the place? Is it Boyd? I'm guessing it's Boyd, right? Boyd's got to be the anchor. So is Henry going to go after Boyd? And there's going to be some more strife and problems in Fromville. And we know that that's the whole design of Sophia. Like, she's done that with Henry with the blood. She took the suit back. She, caused all these problems. And awesome. So HardNXE says, by the way, unsubscribing and then resubscribing does get the YouTube alerts to show back to working, but do it after the episode airs or you won't be able to comment until next week. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so that's the whole thing too, is I think that was the fix for some people. If you're not getting the alerts of the live streams on Sundays, unsubscribe and resubscribe like after you watch this video or whatever. Because that's definitely a thing that YouTube is not a perfect website or service yet, but that's one thing that can help you there too, so for sure. I know that the big thing was the thumbnail of this video for the man in yellow talking to Tabitha like they know each other, like they're friends, like he might have been one of the people that were there before this too. Like, is Tabitha part of the founding group like Jade is? And how come Tabitha only remembers when she was a child and Miranda? There's no other things that she remembers. Like, Jade saw the guy with the boulder, is it Thomas or something, whatever, the guy they couldn't remember is with the puppet, the Civil War soldier, the guy with the nail. So he remembers at least 4 other people and himself as a child. So 5 plus Jade. So it's like 6 where Tabitha remembers, 2 other things where you're like, and it's kind of annoying when they kind of start to go down this path and remember this and whatever. And, when the man in yellow is saying, well, you've never done this before. So that means that the story can be done. They can do different things. They can have whatever. But ultimately, it probably ends up in failure because they're going against the thing that they can't actually find. And so they mentioned the Lake of Tears. Then they gave up on it. They've given up on the Lake of Tears. They haven't tried any more about that whatsoever. Will they go back to that in season 5? Possibly, potentially. My boat theory of the Lake of Tears and number 2 and the spiders and the lighthouse and it's just all those things. So we'll have to see what they're going to do. But you can't try to figure out this show at all. Like, can you figure out from? Because all of a sudden, Donna's going to have a heart attack and pass out. And then all of a sudden, Boyd's going to remember gunshots and have hallucinations and see things that aren't there. And it's going to try to do this. And then Henry's going to have to kill somebody in town. And Sarah's going to try to step up. And Julie with her bad wig, not seeing it all. She's not trying to go back to find anything. She's given up. Randall's not doing anything. Ethan's just trying to figure out what Victor's talking about. Because what if the show ends, Ethan takes the place of Victor, and that's how it ends. And it's a continuous loop and cycle. You can never leave. Now Ethan is going to be Victor. He's got to live there forever. And then it starts over the cycle. And then we see Tabitha and Jade show up again somehow, some way, or something like that. Like, it just ends that way, too. Like, it's a never-ending loop, a time paradox, a multiverse, or whatever nonsense they want to come up with. That I feel like that's the way it's going to go. They're going to pull some stupid thing out of their butt and write it into the story, and that's how it ends. Again, I've never seen Lost, but people do not like how that ended. These are the same people, or some of the same people that made Lost are making this show. Did they learn what not to do? Are they going to continue down the same path of writing an ending that people don't like? Is it going to be satisfying? Is it going to be frustrating? Only time will tell. But yeah, so we learned some stuff here, and we'll have to see how it all plays out. Donna is very much safe and being a part of the group. and Boyd is still hallucinating, and hopefully they can work on some stuff. And so their plan was, so Jade finally came up with the plan and said, let's get the bottle tree, let's rip it up, and let's have a team down in the tunnels plus a team at the top at the same time. I think you just rip the tree up now, do it in stages. Part 1, go in there, rip the tree up, take your time with it. There's no rush. Who cares? Do it again. Take your time. If it works, if it doesn't, take out the shovels, rip up the roots, rip up the tree, get to them there, have their opening. Then you go back home, then you come out, now you have your opening. You don't have to do it at the same time, because if the group that's in there gets stuck down there, they're gone. And that's not going to work. But that's probably what's going to happen. They're going to decide to do the plan is at simultaneously tree and tunnels at the same time. But that doesn't make sense, because the plan's going to go wrong. What if there's a collapse? What if the entryway or the doorway gets rushed in or caves in or whatever too? I just think the way it should be is rip up the tree, set it all up, have the opening, see what you got to do, call it a day, come back the next day, and do it in stages. But we'll have to see what they actually do, because Father Katari was trying to talk some sense into Boyd to say, look, you got to try, you got to get over it, you got to try this, you got to try that. So we'll see. Yeah, I guess I've never seen Lost, so I don't know how it ended, but we'll have to see if they play that card there too, where people don't like it. So, it's something that we are watching the show and we're invested. And I talked to my dad. My dad's at the end of season 3 right now. He's on like season 3, episode 8 or 9 or something. So he's wrapping up season 3. But every time I talk to him, he's like, it's a weird show, and it's this, and it's that, and it's here, and it's there. And I don't really go into great detail of conversation with it, because with my dad talking about because it's not something that you can try to figure out. And the writing, they can throw wrenches at you at any time. Like, they can just do this and do that, especially in this time. Like, there was locusts that came by, and then there was this. Excuse me. And then there's going to be spiders, and then there's going to be here, and then there's going to be manipulation, and then they're going to be able to have this, and then they have big dolls that come back to life, and then they have, whatever. They can throw in different twists and turns as much as they want. But the common thing that I'm seeing is that everybody's afraid, and everybody's doing this, and they're not safe, and the town is going to have to turn against Jade and Tabitha and Boyd's going to try to protect everybody because he's the protector, he's their leader, he's their person there, which is fine. These are the parts that people play. And it's going to be interesting to see if Henry is probably going to listen to, what does he have to do, and what does that mean, and is he actually going to come up with a plan to actually eliminate the anchor in Fromville, which I'm guessing is a person, obviously. Who is the person that keeps everyone grounded and that can not controls things, but is their leader. And it's to me, it's got to be Boyd, right? So it's either got to be Boyd or Donna would be the two, because Donna runs Colony House and Boyd runs the town. And so will it be people coming together? Probably not, because again, there's 12 episodes left of the entire series, because 2 remaining of season 4 and then 10 of season 5, that it's not going to go well. Every time they come up with the plan, it doesn't go well, but they're trying new stuff. Even the Man in Yellow talked about that. So it makes sense that is going to be, they're going to try something, it's going to fail, and whatever. But yeah, I didn't do a trailer breakdown of Dead City, even though there is a trailer on YouTube. And, it's the classic stuff where it's Negan being Negan. He's got Lucille 3.0 at this stage, 4.0 at this stage, whatever. And he's got his own group of people. Maggie is there to try and work with him now. They're trying to come together. They can why does Maggie care about New York? Why does Maggie even care? She's a Southern Belle farm girl that is there. Maybe she always wanted to go to the big city or whatever on there too, but it's kind of out of character for her. But either way, we got to get past that. And she wants to work with Negan now, and they have the walkers, and they have power, and they have food, and they have whatever. And so the big thing is that there's so many walkers in New York City still that it's kind of laughable. But either way, they have to round up some walkers, put them in the vats, use the methane gas to power New York City and whatever. But also, like, you don't need to power the entire city. You just need to power, part of it. And then expand that way or whatever, because the energy demands are going to be pretty crazy to run an entire city. And new people are going to come in. Maggie and Negan are going to work together. Finally, the Dama is still out there. Herschel is still out there. The Croat is still out there. So I want to see how it plays out. Hopefully, they're setting up a fourth and maybe final season. I don't know. That's just talk. There's been a lot of talk of what's going to be the future of it. Will they all come together for Dead City? Will that be the future of The Walking Dead, the final series of that? So, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely something that I want to see how it plays out. Maggie is seen dancing with someone. Is it a love interest? Is it not? I don't really care either way. Is it a big deal? Like, oh, it's been like 15 years since Glenn's passing, so I don't know the timeline of story in the Walking Dead universe, and don't really care at this point. But we just have to hit the hallmark things. I think we all can agree that we want to have the reunion with Rick and Daryl and Morgan, and however they want to play it out. Is Michonne going to be involved? Probably not, because Denai Guerrero is probably done playing the character. Are we going to see some final things with the Commonwealth? And probably not. Are they going to use the sets anymore? Doesn't make sense to continue the Walking Dead universe at all. To me, it's just like bare budget bones Walking Dead. Like, they're not trying to reinvent the wheel anymore. I don't know how much the shows really get for viewership. I don't know how much they actually make, because they are paying Norman Reedus, Melissa McBride, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and Lauren Cohan a lot of money as a salary for these episodes. And if they're not bringing the money back in, it all comes down to, return of investment. If you're putting a lot of money in, is it coming back around? I don't know. That's how the networks think, too. So we're finishing up Beef, which, again, is season 2. It's a crazy series on there, too, and it's something different to watch. The first season's better, in my opinion, especially right now, as we watched only so many episodes of season 2. But first season stars Steven Yeun, who was Glenn on The Walking Dead. It's worth watching. It's on Netflix, so check that out. Still watching Home Improvement. I mean, again, we're watching we watched the NBA Finals, watched a little bit of the World Cup, finishing up Righteous Gemstones. We got one more episode of that, and then we'll have to see, getting ready for House of the Dragon Season 3, which I'm hoping is pretty awesome, because hopefully it's a good thing too. So, but from wrapping up 2 more episodes, we'll have to see how it plays out for the final, or going into the final season. And it's just something different. I've said it before time and time again for the many years that I've been doing live streams and making videos. I like something different. I like episodes and shows that are different. Like The Burrows was different on Netflix, if you haven't seen that. From is drastically different, for sure. Different shows, different stuff, different times, different, everything. And so, Slizzle says, I need World Cup gone. It's made traffic unbearable. Where are you at, Slizzle? Because I'm in Tampa Bay, and we don't have any World Cup games here. So, it depends on where you're at. If you're a hosting city, I'm sure it's probably not really good to be involved with Los Angeles. Yeah, so that was probably crazy for the game on Friday. And I think that's the third game they play too for the group. The United States plays a game in Los Angeles, a game in Washington, and then I don't know if they're back in Los Angeles for their third game or not. But yeah, it's probably the little things like that. So you don't think about it as the World Cup is not the best for everybody too, especially if you're just, there's nothing worse. Like, I'm just trying to go through whatever. Like, I live by the beaches in Pinellas County in in Tampa Bay. And I live in a touristy area where there's all these vacationers, especially spring breakers, and I go to the Publix that a lot of tourists and vacationers go to. So you can tell them when their shopping cart's about to explode and it's annoying and there's people everywhere and people don't know what they're doing and they're driving all over the place and they're going slow in the fast lane or fast in the slow lane and they're this and they're making a turn for ever. Like, there's nothing worse than people who don't know how to drive and they're making your life slower and impacting your life negatively. Like, especially when someone turns, right? They make that right-hand turn to turn into their neighborhood and they're still turning, haven't cleared yet, about to, all right, there we go. And you're like, all right, now I can go. You're like, come on, just go, give it some gas a little bit, right? Man, Slizzle says, I work at SoFi for work. By 1 p.m., I was gone. Yeah, so if you're around that area, I can only imagine what that is. It looks nice on television, but I don't know. Traffic is probably terrible. But it's probably terrible to begin with. But when it goes up a notch, like, I don't live in Tampa, but Tampa gets the Super Bowl. Miami gets a Super Bowl. Certain cities get Super Bowls. And when the Super Bowl is in town, way more cars, way more traffic, way more transportation, way more people, way more everything. And I said this before. I said it on cruises. I said about this. People ruin everything. They just don't have respect for them, for anyone else, for the area. They care about themselves. They're not worried about anything but getting theirs, getting to where they need to be. They don't care about their surroundings whatsoever, including you and your car and whatever. Out of my way. I need to get there. I'm here. Get it, whatever. So, but yeah. So hopefully, if you're around there, like Slizzle 2290, be safe. I guess you got to leave a lot earlier to get to account for the traffic, which is probably already bad to begin with. What they say on the 405 or whatever they say. I've never been to Los Angeles, so I've never been to California yet. So one day I will, because I want to go on a cruise out of the Los Angeles port to go to Hawaii, and you have to fly to Los Angeles, I'm guessing, go to the port, leave from the port, 4 days at sea, go around Hawaii, 4 days back, and that's your cruise. So gotta leave out of Los Angeles is the one I've been looking at right now. Probably when I'm going to go on that in like 10 years, we'll have to see what port it is for how it goes down too. So I know I showed you guys my latest book, Fight for Us 2 Reaction, is the second book of Fight for Us 2. I'm excited to have this come out later this month. And yeah, it's been a long time coming, trying to get this situated with everything. And I'm excited to get this one out there, but I'm also excited for, the next book too. Sets up a lot of things, story-wise and everything as well too. So, not gonna lie, Hawaii, larger cities remind me of a hot San Diego. I've never been to San Diego either as well. That's the other thing that I want to go to is San Diego. My wife and I love to go to the zoos. So San Diego Zoo is supposed to be one of the best, if not the best. And maybe we're trying to figure out, again, we're not going to go on any of these trips for like 10 years. But the big thing is try to do it right. And since we're there, why not take an extra day or so to do that right? And but yeah, I'm excited. It's always good. I always tell people too is you got to have things to look forward to in the future, whether it's short term, long term, couple weeks, couple months, 6 months, a year, whatever. And have it broken down. I'm a physical therapist, so we have short-term goals, long-term goals. I think you should have that in life, whether it's with your house or your, physical health, wealth, mind, body, and soul, whatever it is. Definitely have those things. Short-term, long-term takes time. And, that's probably why people are stuck in From are like, it's hopeless. We're never going to get out of here. We're stuck here every day. And we got to see that they different people had their little one lines. Like the one guy was setting things on fire, setting the body on fire. We had a lady who was like, "It's not safe here." We had, it's kind of, it was kind of funny to see all these extras. And if something's hopeless, if you have no hope in succeeding or achieving anything or winning, why would you play? Why would you do it there too? I'm just surprised people haven't, took the easy way out in Fromville. But we'll have to see too, so. Tim says, backwards, Maine, you got to pronounce that last name for me, Bri. I'm not sure what you mean, Tim. Sizzle says, well, Walking Dead, are you fired up for Dead City jokes? Of course, The Walking Dead is dead. I'm not excited about Dead City, but I'm not excited about it too. Like, I was just talking about the trailer before you came on. The trailer doesn't get me excited by any means. It would be exciting if we knew that people were going to show up on there too. Like, if you knew that somebody was going to make an appearance, a new character was going to make an appearance, and not the character that we know is going to show up in this season from the filming and basically the cameo that we're going to see. But if we knew that it was going to further the story, if we knew that Maggie called for reinforcements and people from the Commonwealth were going to show up and help her and help Negan and help whatever, and we knew that Daryl, like, what if we saw Daryl and Carol at the end of Daryl Dixon on a boat, and we see in the distance the Statue of Liberty? Which, in the trailer, they have the Statue of Liberty missing its nose. Like, pretty stupid. Like, yes, walkers lose their nose, the tip of their nose, because it's cartilage, and the cartilage would dry up and die because of the blood supply. Well, the Statue of Liberty, it's not going to happen, so it's kind of cheese in my effect. So, Tim says, how do you pronounce your last name? So it's Grenda. It's Brian Grenda. It's like Brenda, but with a G. So it's Grenda. It's a Polish last name. A lot of people think it's Italian because it ends in the vowel, but I'm half Polish, half Italian. So it kind of works either way. But people tell me, most people think that every Polish last name has to be end in a ski. And that's the most common phrase of it too. And every time I talk about it, I say the same thing. It's like Grenda, it's Polish, and they may have said it as like Glenda. They might have changed it or shortened it at some time frame. Whoever came over from, and I don't know the history of my last name or lineage of anything, so I don't know who actually came over from Poland. I never did the ancestry stuff. And I don't know if that's something my dad would be interested in. I'll have to check with him to see down the road to see if we can go down that rabbit hole to see who was there too. When I was younger, my great-grandparents passed away, and so never got to see anything. So we'll have to see how it plays out, down the road. But I never know. It's something. Do people like to do that still? The ancestry stuff? Like, do people even care? Because it was kind of like everybody wanted to do it, and now I don't know. Like, do people do like 23andMe and all that stuff anymore too? Like, I don't know. That used to be a big thing, and now people don't talk about it too. So, Slizzle says Scott Gimple torpedoed the show. I've heard Angela Kang wanted Rick for season 11 as a main character. Gimple refused. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the ability of Angela Kang and Gimple and Rick this and there, and Chandler Riggs got killed off, and that pissed Andrew Lincoln off, and then he left and whatever. There's been all this talk about it too, and people don't really. I doubt Andrew Lincoln is ever going to come out and saying, I hated this story, so I left, and this annoyed me, so I left, and you killed off my son, so there was no reason for me to come back, and it was this, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know what the actual thing was, but I would assume, like, Well, what I do know is that what I've heard is that Andrew Lincoln was the leader of The Walking Dead. And when there was like a new cast member would come, he would introduce himself and make the person feel, comfortable and nice and welcomed. And, you become that as the focal point in the face, the leader, the captain of the show, and then you start to lose certain characters, and you start to lose certain actors. It probably weighs on you a little bit. And again, it comes down to money and this, and it's all these different things where you have to deal with money, budget, time, everything. And everyone's making a big deal on From that Henry's room had the same drapes and it had the same artwork and it had the same chair, and because he's hallucinating. So obviously, also they don't have an unlimited budget of drapes and chairs and sets and whatever. And the actress that played the ballerina is the nurse. And here, and you're like, yeah, because they probably only have so many extras that can work there, whatever, too. So I'm not trying to figure out the show. Like, I've never seen a show have more theories, ideas, just different things come up every episode, every day, every week than From. It's something crazy that I've never seen and then Walking Dead had theories and speculation and whatever, and I'm sure people are still trying to push that around too. So that's something that we'll have to I'm just trying to roll with it. I'm not trying to figure out stuff because drive yourself crazy with it. If you let it too. So Negan says, I got an Ellis Island certificate for my grandfather when he arrived. That's awesome. See, I think it's kind of cool. And so my family's kind of, I hate to say messed up, but, my mom and dad had me when I was, in the early 80s. And then they got divorced. And then I have no brothers and sisters from that side. Then I have an aunt and my dad. That's the only two kids that my grandparents had. And then I have a cousin from that aunt. And then I have other distant aunts and uncles and cousins and whatever there too. So how stuff plays out. And then my mom's side has 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and various cousins. Now I have a stepbrother and a stepsister and a stepdad. I had a stepmom, but she passed away. And so, it's kind of a cloudy thing to look at it too. But, that'd be my dad is always trying to say he's doing things around the house because he's retired now. So he's got to do stuff around the house, and he has stuff done with his teeth and some gum. So he's recovering there. Goes to the gym. He can easily clean the house every day. There's always different things to do, and clean up the garage or the living room or the family room or the basement or the bedrooms or bathrooms. There's a bunch of stuff to do all the time, as we all know as homeowners, right? But I feel like if he got that under control, it'd be kind of cool to look into his genealogy and his, lineage of people, of where they were and what they did and whatever. And I think that'd be kind of cool, but also I'm okay with not knowing. That's the other thing as well. I can go either way, but it'd be something maybe for him to look into as well. But yeah, guys, hopefully you're doing, well, and you're safe and sound this year. It's June 14th, 2026, as we do this live stream, and it's kind of crazy. Every January, the time is super slow. February goes quick because it's a short month. March, April, May is, crazy, but also a good month. Now we're into June. The summer months are long, especially July and August. They're both 31 days. They're both hot. They're both, crazy with stuff. Kids are off from school, and there's this, and tourists, and traveling, and vacations, and there. And then September, hopefully starts to feel a little bit better and cooler, but hopefully it's also the peak of hurricane season for Florida is August, September, and October. So you never know any of those months of craziness, but it's an El Nino year, so we'll have to see how it plays out for the weather. And then October, November, December are hopefully my best months. They're hopefully it gets cooler out and nice out, and it's nice to be in fall and then into the winter and cool down a little. Like running the air condition and running a lot of things like that too. The electrical bills are higher and crazy and that, and try to cut costs and everything too. And I don't know how many people live in Florida here on the stream, if you're watching it or whatever too, but the big thing is that they're trying to propose, and I'm hoping it passes, is the property tax reform that's going to cut down taxes because of the homestead exemption, and it's going to be on the ballot for voting in November, which is not going to get rid of property taxes as a whole, but it's going to cut them down significantly. And if you can save thousands of dollars for property taxes, I think that's pretty amazing. So we'll have to see if it passes. It's got to pass 60% come November, and hopefully it does. So it'd save me a couple $1,000 a year on property tax, and still got to pay stuff for schools and this and whatever too. And hopefully, I know more and more states were talking about doing that, and they were talking about reforming property taxes and giving it back to the residents, especially if it's your homestead, if it's your main house. I think it's a good thing. So we'll have to see, if it passes or not come this November. But before you know it, we'll be talking about Dead City, House of the Dragon, From will be done for season 4. The Spider-Man movie will be out. I have not seen Disclosure Day. Has anybody seen that? I know it's the Steven Spielberg movie that everybody's kind of excited about too. And Spielberg makes great movies. He's kind of right up there with James Cameron, in my opinion. If you had to watch movies by only one person, one director, producer, one production company, I think Steven Spielberg would be tough to beat because he's got a variety of different movies. That'd be pretty interesting and pretty cool to see, because I love the idea of how he tells stories too. So, Paradise is pretty cool, Slizzle. Hopefully season 3 would be even better too, setting up. I don't know if it's going to be the final season or what, but Paradise was very good. That was recommended by Carol, by a member of this community here at the BT channel, and it's a Hulu show, Paradise. If you haven't seen that yet, it's worth watching for sure. It's 2 seasons out there. Deacon says it was 110 and miserable yesterday. Got up at 4 a.m. to do work out in garage. Wrapped it up by 8 a.m. That's crazy that by 8 a.m. it's hot. Like, I know I left to go to the gym this morning by like around 9 o'clock. And I started up the car and I looked at the dashboard and it said outside 86. And I'm like, it's 86 degrees at 9 o'clock in the morning. And it stays hot all day and whatever on there too, and it's what it is. But heating and cooling, man, that's where the money's at. That's never going to stop. That's never going to go away. So summer in Florida is basically, so probably closer to March, definitely April, sometimes March to November. So if you're lucky, it'll get cool. It'll be cool in January and February into March, but January and February have been cooler, good months. And then by March or April-ish, it starts to get hot, and it depends on how hot, It can be comfortable at 70s and gets the wind and lower humidity and get the breeze. But by April, May, June, July, August, it's super hot. September, still hot. October, still hot. I think there was one Halloween where it was cooler out since I've been living here, for coming up on 15 years. And so it's really only been one time. And then November, you get what you get. Sometimes it's a little warmer or whatever. But it's that bipolar weather. That Jekyll and Hyde weather. Hot and then cold, 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 hot, hot, cold, cold, cold. Couple days cold, couple days hot, cold, there, boom, boom. And it's like, all right, all over the place. So that's a good way you get sick too, is your body's all over the place and hot and cold and whatever. And then you need to run the air conditioning, and it's nice because you haven't been running it and it saves money and it's this, but then all of a sudden you got to run it for a week and then your bill's back up again and you're like, got to give it a break, you know. So start to do that maintenance on your air conditioning with the, you know, filters, the drain lines, making sure all those are clear and cleaned up, because the air conditioning is going to be using up a lot this summer for sure. But other than that, guys, you know, I got about 5 minutes left, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to be here at this live stream. I'll be talking about, you know, from next week. So I should be back for the next couple weeks for that. And then might take a little time off in July. And then, because I know that Dead City doesn't start until July 26th. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's still stuff to talk about. It makes sense to be talking about some stuff and whatever, and you know, maybe Comic-Con, maybe information, maybe news on there too. But I always keep you guys posted. I always let you know if I don't post anything as a post on the channel, then I'll be back for a live stream. I always like to let you guys know if I'm not doing a live stream, because I plan to do them on Sundays for a while. I'm not going to do them forever, obviously, but it's a nice community feel still to talk about, you know, different stuff. And From is the latest thing, and then the Walking Dead universe when we know information there too, and you know, different summer movies, and they've been pretty good so far. Like I've seen Masters of the Universe, He-Man, Masters of the Universe, so it was okay. You know, it wasn't a great movie by any means. It's worth watching if you watched it. He-Man, you grew up with it. Mandalorian and Grogu, I would wait to go watch that on Disney Plus. It just feels like a longer episode of that show. And that's the only movies I've seen so far. And I am kind of excited for the Spider-Man movie to see how that plays out. And I'm really excited for whenever they finally show the trailer of Avengers Doomsday, because that is something I want to see. The X-Men, you know, Gambit, Shang-Chi, everything. There's so many awesome characters that should be making their connection into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, connected with Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom and Thor and Captain America and everything. So it should be awesome, you know, but hopefully the trailer comes out, and I'm sure that's going to be everywhere and people will be talking about that. But I don't know if they're going to wait till after Spider-Man, probably, because that's going to probably start to steal all the thunder, and you want to kind of have that ready for Spider-Man for the next Marvel movie coming out. Are you guys excited for any show, movies or shows or anything coming out this year? Because, you know, I was thinking about it too. Is like there's a lot of good stuff. Some stuff I don't even think about too. Like at the beginning of the year, I forgot about Spider-Man coming out in July. You know, I don't care about Dune, but that comes out in December. Avengers Doomsday, Street Fighter, I always see Mortal Kombat 2. That was pretty good. Scary Movie, I didn't see that one, but you know, people are watching like, what is it, Obsession or something? I don't even know what those scary movies that are out now that were made for like low budget, but are still making a lot of money, which that's awesome. Like I remember watching the Blair Witch Project in the 90s, and that movie's terrible. But everybody was like, yeah, it only cost $50,000 to make, and it only cost this, and it only cost that, and blah, blah, blah. And then you watch it, and it was just like stupid. So, and the movie was crap. And you're like, yeah, well, it really wasn't worth watching there too. So, Slizzle says, I believe you're my third longest subscribed channel. Old Walking Dead days anyways. Nice speaking with you. All I'm off. So, thank you, Slizzle2190. I appreciate you being here, and also the continued support. You know, many years ago, we started this channel, and it's morphed into different things. That's kind of what life takes you down, different paths, different avenues, different venues, different things. And the only constant in life is change. You know, we're doing a lot of stuff for that. And, yeah, Highlander, that's another one. See, like that looks awesome, too, with Batista and Henry Cavill, which hopefully is a good one there too. And I did not even watch the latest season of The Witcher because Henry Cavill wasn't The Witcher. It was Liam Hemsworth, and you're like, done with that. You recast that, I'm out. Done. Didn't watch that too. So, but like I said, guys, you know, I appreciate you guys taking the time for this nice little break, and hopefully you kind of look forward to it on Sundays to talk about From and other stuff and other shows and movies, and just to be part of the community to talk about anything and everything. And it's always nice to just have a nice chat and talk, whether it's virtual like this over YouTube or in person. And this is a good way to have us come together, and hopefully we'll get more and more people back into it, especially when Dead City comes around and Daryl Dixon, and we'll still be talking about a bunch of different things. But remember, guys, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Keep working hard. Whatever it is, you can achieve it. Thanks, guys. I'll be back next Sunday, and I'll see you guys. See ya.